The Seahawks, with their offseason being jam-packed with both a lot of moves and also lots of trades, are the Seahawks being undervalued by the NFL?
It's football time.
Alrighty, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast for sports, everything on this channel. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we're talking about the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, of course, have had a jam-packed offseason, including going out there and signing Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp, and also Demarcus Lawrence, while also getting a lot of great pieces in the draft, including three offensive linemen in Gray Zabel and Bryce Caldew and Mason Richmond. But also, their defense mainly retained most of their pieces as they brought back Ernest Jones and Jaron Reed as their two of their starters. But also, they drafted a few defensive pieces as well, including Riley Mills and also, most notably, Nick Emanware, who they traded up for in the second round. And after their cuts, they now have a receiver core that doesn't involve of MVS. It has Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jake Bobo, Cooper Kupp, Torrey Horton, Derek Young, and also Cody White. And then six missing spots that can be, of course, filled up by practice spots. But with the tight end room now diminished with the release of Noah Fant, they also got A.J. Barner, Elijah Arroyo, and Eric Stauber. And then also the running back room consists of Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, and George Holliday, as Damian Martinez, the sixth round pick by the Seahawks, was released. But that now means that Sam Darnold is the starter, unrightly, as a lot of us had expected. But the question is, with all these moves, are the Seahawks being undervalued as a team? I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Before we do, if you guys do enjoy this video, do me a favor and smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. For now, let's talk about the Seahawks. The Seahawks, I do believe they are being undervalued. Let me explain why. I've already seen a few predictions of the division of Seattle either being a third or fourth, as is the usual. But I want to throw out this fact. Did you know that since 2010, the Seahawks have only finished last place in the division once? Did you know that? I didn't know that until I looked this up. The only year that they finished in last place was because of Russell Wilson's thumb injury that then Gino, of course, took it in, and then eventually Russell Wilson will be traded in the worst trade in NFL history from that point forward. Still won that trade, Broncos. But the Cardinals are the team that leads the division in last place finishes. With six. The second overall leader is second one behind the Cardinals is the 49ers with five. And then, of course, the Rams have three because they've only finished in last place very few times. But this disrespect is going too far. I'm sorry, didn't we just go 10-7 last year with one of the second worst offensive lines in all of football? Didn't we just do that? I believe we just did. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we went 10-7 with the second worst offensive line in all of football. Correct me if I'm wrong. But let's look at the receiver core you got to work with if you're Sam Darnold. You got Jack Smith and Jigba, who was one of the leaders in slot as a slot receiver. You got Cooper Kupp, a top 10 wide receiver still. You got Torrey Horton, a rookie. Jake Bobo, who's been with the team for 3 years. Cody White and Derek Young. And then also you got K9, Kenneth Walker, you got Charbonnet, Holliday, you got Barner, you got Arroyo, one of the rookies. Robbie Oots is going to be a big factor this year in the blocking game. I believe that Robbie Oots is going to have a good year blocking for the run game. We saw in the preseason when Sam Darnold had that first drive, they were running the ball effectively. And Charbonnet was looking relatively good. Gray Zabel turned Chris Jones into a knuckle sandwich. That's what happened. Gray Zabel bulldozed all over Chris Jones in that preseason game that he had. He was amazing, and that's why I believe he's going to be one of the arguable candidates for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And not only that, I think he could win maybe the best on the new award, the new offensive line award. I don't know remember exactly what it was called. I believe Gray Zabel is going to be a big factor for our team this year. And not only that, the defense, the only ranking they ranked outside the top 15 last year was run defense. They were the third highest pressure rated defense in the league last year. And in the second half of the year, they were bullying teams. They were bullying them. They were just absolutely annihilating them. And not to mention that win they had against San Francisco in week 11.
Come on, Junior. Wait here, Junior. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. You.
And we're facing against them week 1 with all their injuries. But let's look at their core. You got Ernest Jones on defense, one of the best linebackers in the league, arguably. You got Jaron Reed, Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, Boye Mafe, Woolen, Bryant, Love, and Job, and along with Witherspoon. And then, not only that, you still got Derek Hall, who was the leader in sacks last year for the team. And I'm looking at Seattle. I'm looking at that schedule that they have. It's not as hard as people are thinking. They got the 49ers in week 1. They got the Steelers in week 2. They got the Saints in week 3. Cardinals in week 4. And then the Bucks. That's probably going to be their first hard game in that span. Then you also got the Jaguars and the Texans before you go on the bye week. And then you got the Commanders coming off the bye. Then you got Arizona, the Rams, Tennessee Titans, Minnesota Vikings, Atlanta Falcons, Colts, Rams, Carolina Panthers, and then the 49ers finish off the season. I'm looking at that first 6 weeks. If I'm looking at that right, and I'm looking at that as a good winnable span, I think from week 1 to 6, I think Seattle can have a 5-1 record, with the only loss being to Tampa, because San Francisco, they're the most injury-riddled team right now. Their defense is too young, and also Malik Mustafa's out for the first 4 games of the season as he got placed on the PUP list. And on top of it, they got the Steelers that are not going to be anything this year, even with Aaron Rodgers.
Tomlin. You imbecile.
Their defense is going to be something, but not that offense. And then also you got the New Orleans Saints, a cesspool right now, even though Rattler did get named the starter. The Arizona Cardinals, who we always beat.
Not cool, man. Not cool.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're going to be a challenge. And then the Jaguars, we're still not sure about them. When I look at Seattle, their schedule is relatively easy. I could easily see 10 to 11 wins in that schedule. Maybe even 12 if we can get one of the games against either Tampa, Houston, Washington, or Minnesota. Because I'm looking at some of the games. If they can beat Tampa Bay, this team I've talked about for some time. They're a sneaky team, I believe. And I talked about them for some time, and you can take a little look here. You can take a look on that video. I'll have that link in the description below. But also, I wanted to mention something. I feel like this needs to be said. Did you know that Mike McDonald's record against Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers is 2-1? 2-1. And the only other win that they had against them was with the Baltimore Ravens. He has a winning record against Shanahan. So all these people that Niner fans are saying Niners are going to beat us week one, y'all out of your dang rocker. Because y'all are the most injury prone franchise in the NFL. The most injury prone team in the NFL. They are already injured. They're already banged up. And not only that, the Seahawks have had very few injuries onto their roster. Very few. So, but when I look at the Seahawks, they are a team that can go to a playoffs. I think they not only have a chance to make the playoffs, I think they have a chance to win a playoff game as long as it's again like against the Cowboys and all that. But I'll say this. If we see the version that we saw from Darnold in Minnesota last year, and that defense performs as it needs to, and the offensive line can protect Sam Darnold, I think Seattle's got a chance to make a deep playoff run. At least 1 to 2 victories, maybe 1 or 2. But they have a chance to make some noise. People are always doubting upon them. Every year that they have been doubted, they've only gone over 500. Let's look at the last 3 years. 9-8, 9-8, 10-7. Every year that we have been doubted, we've only gone over 500. And let me remind you, we were 1 game away from possibly winning the division if we hadn't lost to the Giants. Let me remind you about that. And also, in that game against the Rams, I think the first one we match up with them, I think if we run that ball up a QB sneak, we get a touchdown and win the game. I think that's an arguable, a very good case because that is what is happening. Seattle is being doubted every year, and yet we still win games. We were 10-7 last year with a first-year head coach in Mike McDonald, and in his second year, he's only improved defenses. Look at Baltimore. And not only that, their offense is still good. I mean, they still got JSN, one of the best slot receivers in the NFL, and you bring in Cooper Kupp to pair up with him. And not only that, you still got Kanine, you still got Charbonnet, you still got Barner, and you still got Bobo. And then you also brought in Elijah Arroyo, who is going to be a deep threat this year, and also Robbie Oots, a fullback that's really good at blocking. I'm telling you all this right now. If y'all down on Seattle as much as you've done for the last few years, they are only going to go over 500 once again. I'm just warning all of you right now. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think the Seahawks are being undervalued by the NFL? Let me know in the comments what you guys think down below. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do me a favor and smash the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.